Hey guys, it's Enwa and welcome to the 8th episode of the Batman Forever project. And to recap of last episode, we built these massive tigers at the front of the house and built down a road that goes all the way to nowhere because I kind of forgot to do that. But regardless, we have also done a few little bits and bobs in the garden. So we placed and decorated our greenhouse and added in a nice little table for the outdoors, which of course I've gone and messed up. And let's quickly show you this greenhouse in here, get out of the really bad weather outside, and I love how it turned out. But you may have seen, just going past, there are some blocks in the air. And you're probably thinking, why are there blocks in the air? Good question. What I have done is, going live today with this video, I have released a Lightmatica, a world edit, and a world file for this build. Because we are going to be starting the interior design now, and I wanted to give anyone that would like to join in an empty shell to work with. However, I have changed ever so slightly with the blueprint, but of course that is subject to happen as we go along, and of course that will then be updated after the build. So, if you would like to have this house / manor, then you can. So check the link down below with the Planet Minecraft link, and let me know if you do face any issues. So I will say, just quickly covering over what files there are. There is one that covers the building itself, and just the building, and one that covers the entire garden section. So it is pretty much this entire area that goes all the way across here. And what I've also done is I've copied that into a flat world and uploaded it onto there. So it's not actually this entire world file. I probably will do that very late one point when I've got more little DC builds going on. But there you go, just so you have it for now. So I do apologise for those little blocks in the air. Those will be removed eventually. But today it's time for some interior designing. So we have this big empty shell of a house with a chandelier, because that's all we've done. And I have been digging around with photos from Gotham mainly, because that's where we see a lot of interior stuff. And of course, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, because we do get a few little bits and bobs with that as well. So due to the process of doing interior work is a lot of trial and error. So what I'll be doing is I'll be placing down the doors of each place, and then I will show you the finished result, because a lot of it is I won't be able to time lapse it all because I might need something intricate to put somewhere, and I might not have a certain amount of something for this part. And I also kind of want to experiment as I go along. So once I place down the door, I'll open it again and show you the finished result of that room. Of course, if I do find some more stuff along the way, I will then change it according to plan. Now, another thing is I went to my YouTube community and my Discord to ask about a kitchen design. Now, I asked whether you would like to see a wooden, brown themed kitchen, or would you like to see a more whiter, modern esque kitchen, very close to the Gotham style, which was very light colours and marble and stuff like that. And although I wasn't hoping for that answer, it was the answer. So I have created a design and we are going to build it. So as I go down here, I'm going to create some dark oak doors, and I've just changed the layout ever so slightly, and this will change even more in a minute. So let me grab some dark oak doors and some slabs, pop down our doors, and then I will come back and show you the finished result. And now, as I open this door, or this copper golem's gonna open it for me, welcome to the Wayne Manor kitchen. Now, before I go on to anything, I feel I can't really pinpoint what it is exactly, but I feel like there's some sort of lighting issue with this update. I don't know if it's because of the shaders I'm using, but I've been changing every single shader setting. I am not entirely sure. I can't pinpoint it exactly because everything looks like it's glowing in a way. I don't know how to fully pinpoint it. Like up here, it's just very, very bright. Maybe it's because I don't have a proper updated texture pack. I don't know. But regardless of that, let's get into this area. So I've made a copper golem. I did make another one. I have lost it. It's somewhere in this building. And yeah, I won't find it until it's dead. So in the meantime, I'm waiting for this one to weather away, I think, and put it on display. I know that sounds really morbid, but there you go. So here we go. Let's go through it all. So on our right, we have got a sink, and we've got this nice little shelving unit, so to speak. So we've got some cauldrons with some levers on either side. Now, I didn't think this through because I usually have tripwire hooks on a wall to have like as taps, but because it's a window, I've popped in some levers on either side. It's a bit odd, but that's just the way it's going to go. Then on the left, we have a fridge. Now, I am missing a beehive, so it's going to go in there eventually. So this is more of a, well, we can't use it, so it's unutilized. But I would love to add in a armor stand just for a little bit of extra detail for this fridge. I might change it. I might keep it like that. I'm not entirely sure, but as of right now, it's going to stay as pale oak wood. We got a little unit here, and the plant pots don't have anything in it, so we will get some colour in eventually. Then over here we have got a stove, just a singular one, because in the actual images of in Gotham, the layout seems to be there is the sink is here, there's a door, then the oven is on this side, and I don't know where the fridge is, so I couldn't find where the fridge was. So I'm assuming it's like in a different room. So I have just slightly moved it around. And I think this shovel was actually quite needed to make it flow a little bit easier. So I've got the stove here with a nice little island in the middle. So I've got little bits and bobs added in. So of course more detail will come in eventually. Then over here we've got some more shelvings and a little bit of clutter going around. We've got a composter, which is going to be a bin, so to speak, so I might put a banner on there at some point. We have a little bookshelf with a brewing stand and some sea pickles. And we have a breakfast table with some lanterns hanging down. So I do want to change the block underneath the trapdoors because I think it'll look a little bit nicer. So I'm not entirely sure yet, but I think it will look pretty nice once that's done. Added in a little lantern, a little unit here, and then what I've done is I've changed the wall ever so slightly. So I've extended it out so we can fit in our fridge, but what I've done instead is I've made it the entrance to the laundry room rather than it being on the other side here. So originally it was put on there, and I thought, no, let's not do that. So I think it's kind of fitting for it to be a full-on area to link up all the other rooms. So we come through this door and we'll have the laundry room. Then I forgot to add in that little bit of the wall. I started doing it and I completely forgot, but that will then link to our dining room. And that is pretty much it. So it does look a little bit odd because I'm still missing out some of those details, but I kind of want to put down the foundation of every single room. And then once I've got all of that bits and bobs that I need, I can then put in all these plant pots and get some banners in, carpets. What is that out there? Okay. And decorate some more armor stands and whatnot. So that is pretty much it. Now, moving on, I thought it'd be quite, self-explanatory to do the dining room and the laundry room. This is very, very small. Oh, that's actually one thing I need to note is previously it was lodestones and smooth stone. I've now changed that with granite and polished granite and changed the interior walls with quartz pillar and clay to match the Gotham kitchen a little bit better. I think it looks so much nicer and it gives a little bit more range of colour, which is quite odd for a kitchen. I feel like it's a bit of everything, but I like it. I think it looks good. So that was a good thing to note. But yes, I think it's time to go on to our dining room and our laundry. So I will check in with you in just a moment. Oh, wow. Okay. That took a little bit of time, but we got there and we now have a laundry room and a dining room. So let's talk the laundry room first. It is very, very compact, and I've tried to put in the key features of the laundry room that was in the film. Of course, it is a much bigger room and there is windows in it, but because of the way that everything's been laid out, I've just popped it into this little cubby area accessed through the kitchen. So we have our little washing machines here, got some storage. This is supposed to be an ironing board. Whether or not it looks like it, I don't know. We got some like coat hooks or whatever they are. And I've popped some fences across as kind of like a washing line. So that was also a part of that too. So I wanted to add some in. And of course, all of this copper has oxidized over time. But that is pretty much it in terms of this little room. I think I might add in some more at some later point, but I kind of wanted to get, again, the bases down. Now, as we go through, we have got the dining room, which I think turned out really, really nicely. So we have a big dining table, 6 chairs. We have a little armor stand in the little corner. And what I would like to do with my armor stands for this build is try and use pistons to push in glass. I don't know if that's possible, but I would love to see if it can, because if so, that will just add a little bit more depth to it all. Then over here, I think is one of my favourite things I've built so far, and it's a little fireplace, and guys, I love it. It is so gorgeous. So I've built it all out of dark oak. So I've got signs, trapdoors, stairs. I did want this to be stripped blocks, but actually I kind of liked how this turned out. And then I had a bunch of these hanging signs in pretty much every single block. I don't know why I made so many. So I've popped those across. It's like a little gate rather than using bars or fences. Then down here we have some campfires with some grey banners to kind of cover it up ever so slightly. But it's fine because there's still dark oak wood at the back. But honestly, love it. I'm obsessed, and you're probably going to see a lot of this like design-ish here and there. Then over here in the corner we have some paintings, a little bush area, and a little shelving unit. So just a little few bits and bobs just to build up the space. I've also had a little bit of a struggle trying to do lighting in here. I wanted to do like a chandelier or something that would come down and bridge across with candles on top, but it didn't really look right. So I've kind of stuck with some lanterns just around at different heights all the way across, because I wanted to make sure that they weren't any lower than this so you can still see the person at the very end. And yeah, I think it looked really nice. Added some tulips and some more candles. And I wanted to go for like a reddy theme as well, since everything's quite dark. So I wanted that kind of big pop of colour. So I used some glazed terracotta, which honestly, who remembers this block? I didn't even know. well, I didn't know it was a thing, but like I've never ever used it for anything. So I was like, okay, we'll get some terracotta, dye it red, because we have loads of flowers in our garden now. And yeah, I kind of wanted a little break up from all of this plain patterns. So I wanted to add a little bit of something. And I think it looks really nice. I think I might do a little bit more of that in the future. And I just wanted to add a little bit of more color in the middle. It was originally glass, but it didn't look right. So I think this looks pretty good. So, of course, like I always say, always subject to change. And one of those main things is definitely the copper stuff. It is oxidizing so bloody quickly. So I only managed to get enough honey to do the kitchen area. Now, another thing, I know I've spoken about lighting, and it is mainly due to the update. They have changed the lighting thing, so it's really contrasting with shaders. So I really apologize if it looks incredibly dark and things are just glowing, because it's a bit odd. But regardless, so everything has been changed to kind of like a semi-weathered. I think that's what it is. I don't really remember what the thing is called, but to this like pink hue, which I think looks really, really nice. Now, going further into our build, and I think this episode I'm only going to do one wing of the place, so it will be just a right wing. We have got a bathroom. I think it's a bathroom. It is a bathroom. Then down here we have got our library. So I have popped most of the doors everywhere. So this is our library section, and this is where in the actual film this room is actually over here. So when you go through the main entrance, you go into the right and it will be this room. So I've now purposed it over here so I can have more space and utilize, what can be done. So it'll be a little bit of a mixture of, seating, bunch of books. I've added this little overhang at the moment, which will be done at another time. So it'll probably be like a little walkway, balcony area. Then over here, we've got a little landing. We've got our study. And then we've also got a private lounge. So those are everything that we're going to be doing in the next few minutes. And I think that is pretty much it in terms of what's left. Of course, I'm kind of leaving these corridors till last because there's not really much to do. I mean, I might do them, I might not. But I just want to make sure that every single room has pretty much everything it needs. So, with that being said, let's crack on with all of these other rooms over here. So let me shut these doors and I'll see you in just a moment. And alrighty, so the 3 main rooms are finally furnished, and I did mention a bathroom. However, I've decided to leave that until last, until I do all the bathrooms in one go. I think it'll be easier for block-wise and material-wise, so I've left it for now. But it's time to go through these doors and look at each room. Now, of course, I've not decorated any of the landings or corridors, but let's go all the way down this little corridor here, and we're going to go into the private lounge. Now, I really wasn't sure where I was going with this because it's a very small space, so I just managed to put in some comfy seating, a lovely winding fireplace going up with a lot of cluttery bits. I wanted to add some logs in there to make it really seem like a fireplace. We added in some books at the back, and that is pretty much it. Just really making it cozy and very warm. And I also added in some banners on the side to act as curtains. I'm not entirely sure if I like the idea, but we're keeping it there for now and just kind of letting it simmer. And of course, this will then be unwaxed once that's done. And yeah, just a few little bits and bobs. So no particular inspiration for this. I did have a little look at some photos, but that will be for much more upstairs lounges and whatnot. Then going into this door is the study. Now this study has been a suggested replica of the Gotham study, which you see in pretty much every single episode. Whenever it's Wayne Manor, we're in that study room. So as we go into here, this is how it's looking. So over here we have the big desk with the big leather chair, with the use of mud bricks and some oak shelves and slabs. And I love how it turned out. I really was worried that it was like a 2-block middle, but you know what? I think it looks fine. And of course, surrounding it with bookshelves all the way around. There is no window at the back here, but for this build, there is. So I added in a range of different bookshelves and empty bookshelves with ladders, and I also made some gaps for a few additional bits and bobs here and there. Then another thing was that there's lanterns on the wall, and unfortunately Minecraft doesn't do that unless you've got modded. So instead I used a combination of fences, chains and candles, and I really like how it turned out. Of course, again, lighting issues don't make it look good enough, but still looks pretty good. Then over here we have a little seating area. There is more seats in the actual office. It's a much bigger study, and there's no table, but I wanted to add a table and add in a fireplace because I saw a fireplace in there, and I just added a little mini version of the one from the dining room. So that is kind of a reason why I added in another campfire over there. And you know what? It fits. It builds up space, makes it warm, makes it really nice and cozy in here. And I added in a lot of color in here as well, because there's red rugs on the floor, 2 separate rugs. So I've just used, again, some glazed terracotta and wool and placed that around. But I've used a lot of red, so I have moved ever so slightly to other colors later on. But yeah, it's a bit of a mixture of everything and anything in here. I did go to the deep dark and grab myself a skeleton skull. It took forever because I looted it all. And in the meantime, spawned many wardens. So I will pop in a link to that VOD in the description if you'd like to watch that, because I did go through and build this on a stream. However, that's not all of it yet. We are now going to go through these 2 doors into the library. Now, I have flipped it in terms of entrance-wise of the angle that you're seeing it from the film, if that makes sense. So this would be where the archway would be, and you'd walk in. So, as we go through here, obviously we've got our little landing, and through these doors, we have our library. Now, I've only done the bottom half. I did start at the top, but I've left it with that so far. So, cluttery items to build up space, and then I've filled this all in with a bunch of books and beams with a bunch of trapdoors. We've got the green sofa, which is questionable, but it's there. A massive marble table with 2 little seats on the side, and a big fireplace. Now this is going to be a big theme for this house. Fireplaces are everywhere. So this is the kind of angle you would see the film from. And although there is a section where Bruce Wayne is at a desk here, I have left that out just again to really emphasize this as a library, because we literally have a study next door. So we have our little tiny spiral staircase going all the way up to our next floor, which I've done an hang of dark oak stairs with some trapdoors to cover that up as well. So again, all cluttery items. I've used dead coral fans as a basket, added in some copper armor because I completely forgot that was a thing. Campfires as logs. I've got some lecterns in here which I'll add some books in. And yeah, I really like how it's turned out, and I've popped in some paintings in each one just to break up with all the books. Because, you know, books can be overwhelming, especially if you don't read. So that is how it's looking, and I'm so chuffed with how it looks. And oh, one thing to know, I've also used mushroom stem for this carpet, because it was a very weird design of a carpet. It was red and white, but the red is very intricate, and I thought I had no idea how to put it in there. So I decided to just switch it up just ever so slightly, make this room a little bit more lighter, especially with this massive fireplace. So I used mushroom stem, and then this part is obviously when you break the block, it creates a new texture. I think that makes sense. If you pop two mushroom blocks next to each other, break one of them, that side will now be different. So I thought that would just be a little bit of nice texture and make it look a little bit fluffy. I don't really know, but I have added in some brown carpets on either side just to make the floor just a little bit more rugged rather than completely flat. So yeah, and I mean honestly, if you couldn't tell, I love the shelf blocks. They are gorgeous, and Minecraft needs to keep coming out with good blocks like this because I love it. And I am definitely thinking of adding in some leaves as like a little bit more cluttery items just on this here, because I feel like it's a big table. So I'm kind of thinking, well, what else do I put on? So there we have it, guys. That is going to be the east wing. I'm going to say east wing just because it is the right wing. Completed with all of the interior work. And I really love how it's turned out. And going into every single room now, it's becoming so much more lively. And in the meantime, I am going to be needing to grind for more materials. And especially my beloved sea pickles, because I've ran out of those now. So I'm going to go looking for some places that has all of those. So I would love for you to let me know how I've done with this design. And of course, next episode we'll be covering the left/west wing, which will be a lot more public. So that will include our ballroom. So I might start off with a chandelier or two. Then we've got a pig. Excuse me. I'm not really entirely sure how you got here, but carrying on. We've got our display room. We've got, what have we got here? A billiards room, and I think this is a public lounge. And I think that's pretty much it in terms of that. Oh, and a cloakroom too, so can't forget about that. So that is so much more that needs to be done for this ground floor, because I wanted to do it all in one episode, but it was so time consuming trying to make sure that these rooms looked similar and still respected the film material that was used, because I didn't want to make it completely wrong. So you know what, I'm kind of satisfied with how it looks, and that is where I'm going to leave this episode. So from me in my lovely new library, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye!